Members, we've just formed a quorum and it's also the appointed time. May I call the meeting to order of the panel on commerce and industry. The first item on the agenda is confirmation of our minutes of the meeting dated the 9th of October 2014. The minutes have been circulated to members, and the Secretariat has not received any proposal for amendment. So, can members confirm the minutes, please? Okay, then the minutes are endorsed. Information papers issued since the last meeting. 3 papers have been submitted by the administration since, and the first is an information paper on the financial position of the Applied Research Fund for the period from the 1st of December 2013 to the 28th of February 2014. Paper CB 11735/1314 The second one LegCo briefs on United Nations Sanctions, Côte d'Ivoire, Regulation 24, the United Nations Sanctions, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Amendment Regulation 2014. Paper CITB CR 136/53/1 and CITB CR 106/53/1. And the third paper is information on the financial position of the Applied Research Fund for the period from the 1st of March to the 31st of May 2014. Paper CB 12050/1314(1). I believe we've all got those papers. The third item on the agenda is the date of our next meeting and items for discussion. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for the 18th of November, a Tuesday, at 2:30. There are 2 proposals. First, a comprehensive review of the Innovation and Technology Fund, the first item on our outstanding list. The second is consultation on a new set of copyright tribunal rules. Item 2 on our outstanding list. The chair and the deputy chairman and the administration had a meeting a few days ago, and we've worked out a schedule for discussion of these items as shown on our list of outstanding items. So members may want to comment on the proposals. Item 17, promoting wider application of intellectual property rights through tax reduction. This item was referred to us by the Bills Committee to study the Inland Revenue Amendment No. 2, Bill 2011. The main object of the bill was to extend the scope of specified intellectual property rights of profit tax deduction to cover capital expenditure. Because this item covers tax issues, it is not really under terms of reference of this panel. So may I ask members, we can delete this item from our list. Mr. Sin Chung Kai, it's all right to delete it, but it should not just disappear. Can we change it to another, refer it to another panel? That's a good idea. Shall we refer this to the relevant panel for discussion? Another suggestion is for you to consider discussing with the panel on financial affairs that we can convene a joint panel meeting. Of course, you are the chairman. Now, this referral was made by the last term 3 years have elapsed and we've yet to discuss it. This is about the promotion of innovation and technology of intellectual property rights. If you just scrap it from our list, it would disappear forever. That's not the best idea. Perhaps you can refer to the FA panel, which may say that although it is a tax issue, the Commerce and Industry panel may also be interested. That means it will be passed from one panel to another. Then can we invite the other panel to join us? Can we ask the Economic Development, Commerce and Economic Development Bureau to exchange views with the FSNTB and give us a report afterwards? How about that? Good. All right. Item 18. Progress report of the Hong Kong Council for Testing and Certification. And also 19, research and development of Chinese medicines. I suggest that these updates be given to the to this panel in 2015 in the 2015 term, because they have not completed their public consultation yet. And they're afraid that a report to us now will not be that comprehensive. So can we leave it to the next year, please? Chairman, items 18 and 19. Of course, should only be discussed when the relevant organizations and administration are ready. It's pointless if they're not. Okay. So we'll proceed as agreed. Item 4. We have a report on the work of the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Offices, the Hong Kong Economic Trade and Cultural Office, Taiwan, and the Office of the Government of the Hong Kong SAR in Beijing in 2013-14. Please, can we have representatives from the CNED Bureau and the CNMA Bureau, and also various representatives from the Hong Kong ETC to join us now.
On
behalf of the panel on Commerce and Industry, let me welcome the various directors from the ETO on mainland and also those from overseas to join us. Mr. Andrew Wong, can I give the floor to you for a brief introduction? Thank you, Chairman. Every year, the director of our ETO and also the Hong Kong ETA and also those from Taiwan will come back every year to give reports to the Council and to answer questions from the panel. We have submitted a paper to give an update of the work of the various officers since the last occasion. There are a lot of uncertainties in the world politics, and geopolitics would bring a lot of uncertainties to the global economic scenario. Faced with these challenges, our officers have worked very hard in the past year to keep a close eye on things that might affect our economic development and interest. They have worked very hard to promote Hong Kong's advantages to these places to attract investment to Hong Kong. And these officers would also organize various arts and cultural activities to promote Hong Kong to these places, to encourage exchange and liaison with other places. In the coming year, these officers will continue to organize various business promotion and PR activities and arts and cultural functions. They will continue to promote our strengths to these places, to showcase Hong Kong as the economic and trade hub in the region, and also Hong Kong's position as arts and cultural center. This will promote tourism and investment into Hong Kong and encourage exchange with different places. Members, with your forbearance, I'll invite the in charge of various officers to a review on the situation in their respective jurisdiction. First, I invite those from Washington, Brussels, and from Shanghai, and also a few places to tell you what they've been doing there. The representative from Washington, ETO first. Thank you. I represent the three ETOs in the U.S. The U.S. is an important economy to Hong Kong, and the U.S. is second largest trading partner with Hong Kong. And according to the Ministry of Commerce there, Hong Kong is their 9th biggest exporting market. We almost imported $43 billion from the U.S., and 9% of the goods into Hong Kong into the mainland was through Hong Kong, and then to the volume of $480 billion. Because of this trading relationship and the dollar peg, the economic situation in the U.S. and the currency policy do have great impacts on our local economy. In Washington, New York, and San Francisco, with 3 ETOs, and our work is fourfold. First, we keep a close eye on the political and economic situation in the U.S., and for acts that may affect trade and economy in Hong Kong, we will analyze and report to the administration. In mid-November, there will be by-elections in the U.S. Because the Congress, the 400 odd seats of Congress and 1/3 of the seats of tenants will have elections. That means the Republican Party may control both the Senate and also the Congress. We'll keep a very close eye on the impact on the currency and fiscal and economic politics, and see whether it will affect Hong Kong. In terms of the economic situation, the interest rates in the mainland is starting to normalize, and it is expected that there may be interest hikes in the middle of next year, affecting the financial systems of emerging economies. And we'll also keep an eye on how trade disputes between the U.S. and its trading partners will develop. And we're also there to liaise with the think tanks, the business sector, and the political sector of the U.S. to explain to them how one country, two systems is being implemented in Hong Kong, and to explain to them various related issues. And we also enhance bilateral relations with the U.S. We're stationed in 3 different cities, but we go to different states to promote trade and economic cooperation with the U.S. I have been in the U.S. For 9 months. I've visited 9 states already, and the other 2 directors have been to 8 states respectively to promote Hong Kong as a premium place for doing business.
In the U.S., the focus of the business sector is on the new initiatives, such as offshore renminbi operations. And in terms of investments in Asia and mainland, they have expressed great interest. In the last year, our offices in the U.S. have successfully helped 53 companies set up store in the U.S. At the same time, we have since facilitated exchanges between senior government officials to promote Hong Kong. In the past year, we have a few secretaries, including the Secretary for Financial Affairs. And in the U.S., we have encouraged Congress members to visit Hong Kong, and in the past year, 7 deputations have officially visited Hong Kong. In terms of bilateral relations, we believe that Hong Kong has maintained a great connection with the U.S. in the past year, and there were no cases of disputes. And we have also made progress in terms of various collaborations. And for example, our business deputation have taken part in the first business forum in America. And we have also signed a tax information exchange agreement with the U.S. And another cross-governmental agreement was also signed on tax affairs. And our food safety center has also relaxed the imports of certain kinds of beef from the U.S. And as the Permanent Secretary said, we have also sought to promote art and culture from Hong Kong, also called the soft power of Hong Kong. And in 8 cities, such as New York, Washington, San Francisco, Boston, Dallas, Seattle, and Portland, we have held film festivals in these cities in collaboration with the local institutions. And we have also representatives from Hong Kong have also visited Massachusetts for performances. And Hong Kong has also taken part in the first folk festival in Washington, and it took place in a museum in Washington D.C. and in the National Square near the Lincoln statue, a festival was held. A major festival was held, and Hong Kong designers were involved, and scaffolders from Hong Kong were also involved. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman. I represent 3 ETOs, Brussels, Berlin, and London. First, I'd like to talk about the economy. The European Union is still one of Hong Kong's major trade partners, and Hong Kong ranks 16th among trade partners of the EU, and we rank 6th among Asian countries. We have close ties with European countries, so we must keep ourselves abreast with their economic situations. And in terms of GDP, last year, the EU had begun to bounce back from an economic low, and the growth rates this year were between 1 to 2%, depending on the country. And countries which received subsidies from the EU, such as Portugal, Spain, and Ireland, they have also improved, and Greece is still receiving assistance from the EU, but again, the economy has also improved. And after several reviews, the EU is of the view that Greece's economy is on the up again, and adjustments in their national policies have helped. And the debt crisis has also soothed, and that said, their employment market is still remains low, and there were some far left or far right parties on the rise, and a lot of countries affected by the debt crisis have adopted tightening controls, and this leads to unemployment, reduction in salaries, housing issues, and as such, the public has expressed dissent in many countries. And in the major election in the EU, these problems have surfaced. This May, the European Parliament organized an election, and in 28 countries, different representatives were voted to the European Parliament. And at the end of the election, the distribution, although the far right and the right parties still occupy the majority, but the far leftists have secured a lot of new seats, and as such, their influence has also grown. And this election takes place once every 5 years, and it has led the European Parliament to review the sentiments of the Europeans. Many countries have opened up their borders, and as such, nationals can move freely between different countries for work. And this is a big problem for many Western European countries. And there are a lot of immigrants from Eastern Europe, which led to a lot of problems. And again, the tightening economic measures have means that life has been very hard for many people, and this has led to a lot of dissent among the public. And the new chairman of the European Council has also been elected. And a list of preferred candidates were also discussed in the European Parliament. And if all goes to plan, the new members will take their seats starting from the 1st of November to work on various issues. And this requires approval from the European Parliament. But as far as we know, the Parliament does have something to say on the candidates. But hopefully it can be finalized as soon as possible. And on Europe's political situation, the major factor we have to consider whether EU's development will be slowed, and we will keep ourselves updated on this issue. And Hong Kong has close ties with the EU. And one big reason is that EU wants to create employment. and they also want to step up economic development and investment, and they are really interested in the Asian market. And Hong Kong serves as a bridge to the Asian market, and so the EU places great focus on Hong Kong, and going forward we hope to do even more on this front. Thank you very much. Next up. Chairman, the Geneva office has a different role to play as other ETOs. The basic law grants Hong Kong the rights to liaise with other trade organizations under the name of Hong Kong China, and Hong Kong also has the right to negotiate and sign agreements, and Hong Kong as a member of WTO and we also have a role to play in developing trade ties. Today I'd like to report our work in the WTO, which is our main task, and there have been a lot of developments over the past year. And since the organization was set up, we have served to promote bilateral trade mechanisms, and bilateral trade agreements have facilitated the flow of goods and promotes development in the global economy, and we can also help develop different industries. And we hope to ensure that all countries will be able to secure their respective rights and receive appropriate supports. And that means even countries with less binding power can also benefit. And the agreements are law-binding, and we can afford legal protection to member countries. Last year, the meeting last year was before a major WTO meeting, and we have had a lot of meetings at that time to finalize various plans and proposals. And in the Bali meeting in Indonesia, we have achieved great results, and a bilateral agreement on facilitating trade was signed, and a lot of important decisions were made, and members agreed that in 2014 we have two major missions. First, the execution of the decisions made in the Bali meeting, and second, by the end of 2014, in the coming Doha round, we must have a detailed working plan. And in the first few months of 2014, we have followed up and discussed these issues. And however, subsequently, a few member countries thought the progress was low, and they requested the passing of the bill on trade facilitation until other bills are passed. And in effect, the legislative process of the agreement was stalled, and there were a lot of opposition from other member countries, and we have a big discrepancy on this issue. So negotiations have stalled. So it would be very hard to get the job done according to our schedule. However, despite the challenges, we have made progress in other negotiations involving other countries, and we have had 4 agreements, and Hong Kong were involved in all of them. And a government agreement was enacted in April, and an IT agreement is pending, and for a trade agreement, an 8th round of discussions has finished. Hong Kong is a member country of the WTO, and we have been very positive. For instance, once the trade facilitation agreement is enacted, we can immediately enforce all the agreed items. And we are also a member of the revision agreement. And over the course of negotiation, we will try our best to come up with solutions, and And two of our representatives were elected chairman of two separate committees. And as such, we can see that our views are treasured, and this helps ascertain our status in the WTO arena.
In mid-November, HKC will have its trade assessment that will be done once every 4 years. We are confident that we can pass the assessment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Chairman. May I give the floor to our representative in Beijing? Thank you. We have 5 offices on the mainland. One of our important roles is to promote trade between Hong Kong and the mainland. We want to help Hong Kong businessmen to understand the investment situation on the mainland. We also want to encourage mainland enterprises to use Hong Kong as a platform for going out, because Hong Kong is in a very advantageous position in terms of our provision of financial and professional services. Well, Hong Kong is very strong in these areas. Of course, it's not easy for Hong Kong enterprises to operate on the mainland because cost is one thing, and then the rules and regulations on the mainland are very different from what we have in Hong Kong. As and Hong Kong representative there will help Hong Kong businessmen by doing research in these areas and disseminate relevant information to Hong Kong people. In the past year, the rate of investment and export has slowed down, and domestic consumption is going strong. When it comes to e-commerce and promotion of domestic consumption, this is very important to Hong Kong entrepreneurs. So whenever there is new development in e-commerce, we'll give briefings to our businessmen so that there can be a direct dialogue between Hong Kong businessmen and the mainland officials. After the third plenary session, we understand that matching of resources is very important. And I think the mainland has streamlined administrative approval or assessment as a result. That means there is a relaxation in entry, in market entry. So our catering and service industries have investment on the mainland, so we will try to collect more information to assist them. So we have targeted at specific areas, and in general, we offer assistance or inform resources on issues like taxation and intellectual property rights. We have professional partners on the mainland, such as tax companies. We carry out thematic studies, and by means of case studies, and for new developments such as value-added tax and profits tax, we carried out thematic studies, and we give out newsletters on such matters. And I think this has been useful to our businessmen, and over 100 chambers of commerce are receiving such newsletters. When professional organizations or bodies visit our offices on the mainland, we also promote such services to them. We will add them to our circulation list so that more can have access to our service. Regarding going out, it is an important development strategy of the country. In the past, the mainland may regard Hong Kong as a window. Now, they see Hong Kong as a partner for mainland enterprises to go out. They may partner with professional services in Hong Kong for mergers, amalgamation, and listing. After all, we share the same language with the mainland, and we also understand their business culture there. Hong Kong has immense potential here. And what roles do the offices do? Well, in our offices, we have promotion investment unit, and we are very proactive in going to different cities to discuss with their development offices. We will identify enterprises of great potential to encourage them to become listed in Hong Kong or to set up offices here. So we are very proactive in our approach. We liaise with professional organizations such as the CPA in Hong Kong or the Law Society, and we invite them to briefings we give on the mainland to encourage many enterprises to use Hong Kong as a platform to go out. We want business organizations in Hong Kong to promote their services on the mainland so that they can be directly accessible by the clients. On the mainland, well, the mainland would like to upgrade and transform their products so they can then tap the international market. Well, and we are promoting this idea of using to use China's creativity and Hong Kong's brand name. And we have done a lot of promotion with our Trade and Development Council, and this is well received by enterprises because they think this can really suit their needs. We, of course, want to promote Hong Kong on all fronts. We have we do promote our arts and culture in terms of music, performing arts, visual arts. Hong Kong young designers may perform on the mainland under sponsored programs. We arrange media interviews for them, so that they can be better known to the mainlanders, so that the mainland can understand that our young designers are also very outstanding. We will keep a very close eye on economic and trade changes on the mainland, and are committed to promote a further liaison with the mainland in areas of trade and economy and culture and arts. Thank you. I think members are also interested in the latest development in Shanghai. So I have invited the director of the Hong Kong ETA in Shanghai to come here as well. Thank you. We also cover Gansu, Shandong, Zhejiang, and Gansu and Anhui. These are high growth provinces on the mainland. In the past year, through various promotion activities, we have expanded our network so as to promote economic and trade cooperation investment between Hong Kong and these provinces. Together with the HKTDC, Hong Kong Tourism Board, and Hong Kong Chambers of Commerce and government departments, we maintain very close liaison with them so as to promote the information required by Hong Kong businessmen there, so that we can provide assistance and support to Hong Kong businesses there. My office have also followed the latest development in Shanghai, including the pilot scheme on free trade zone in Shanghai, and also the Hong Kong-Shanghai Connect stock arrangement. And we've already sent out 9 newsletters and publications to provide information on the economy and various areas of Shanghai. Regarding the free trade zone in Shanghai, since 2013, Since the listing in 2013, 700 odd Hong Kong enterprises are already operating in the free trade zone of Shanghai, and there is very good interaction to ensure Hong Kong businesses can adapt to the life in Shanghai. We provide information assistance to Hong Kong people there in areas of education, medical and health, and other areas. We give them guidance and also briefings. There's the delegation of the CE and LegCo members in April. We organized visits and meetings with the Hong Kong communities there. We'll continue to sponsor various study trips to the eastern part of China, and then we will make use of the country's strategy for enterprises to go global, so that we can make use of such opportunities to further our interest. Thank you. Next, can we have the director from our Singapore ETO? Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Our office in Singapore is responsible for bilateral relations between Hong Kong and the 10 member countries of ASEAN. In the past year, our trade grew by 10% to exceed $96.8 billion. To strengthen our relations with ASEAN, we have arranged for the CS4A to visit Malaysia in June. And during the CS visit, we arranged a Hong Kong week. The Chinese Chamber of Commerce was our partner, and we organized a platform or a seminar, a forum on cooperation between Hong Kong and ASEAN. There was a good exchange with the business community there, and CS delivered a speech there to promote trade and economic relations between Hong Kong and Malaysia. We also cooperate with the Hong Kong Tourism Board. We organized a display, an exhibition on the new face of our harbour front. It attracted over 16,000 visitors to that one-week exhibition. We also have cultural cooperation programs together with the Fringe Club and also the Penang Association. We organized the Spotlight Hong Kong on Penang Festival. There were activities on various aspects, attracting over 500 visitors. The FS also visited Singapore. He also delivered a speech on the 7th Asian Forum and to foster closer ties between Hong Kong and Singapore. And during his visit, we also launched the internship scheme for Hong Kong students. University students will take part in 7-week internship program in different Asian countries. DCS also visited Vietnam and Cambodia to tap into these newly emerging markets. DCS brought along a delegation of lawyers and also arbitrators to promote our services to these countries. The Secretary for Commercial and Economic Development also attended the 11th Asian Leaders Forum. The agreement, the formal talks of the agreement started in July this year. More and more Hong Kong companies and people have set up their business in Asian countries. apart from in Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam, we have got our offices. In Malaysia, the Philippines, and Indonesia, we've also set up business, chambers of commerce there. I'm sure this will help to enhance relationship between Hong Kong and these communities. So we have organized the Spotlight Hong Kong in Penang, and we've also invited 4 short movie producers in Hong Kong to take part in that to a festival, and we've sponsored some drama performances in Singapore.
In terms of interpersonal initiatives, apart from the university internship scheme, we also launched a work scheme in Singapore, and at the same time we also arranged gatherings for Hong Kong people living or working in ASEAN countries. And that's all I have to report. Thank you very much. Finally, I'd like to invite our Tokyo representative to talk about the trade developments in Japan and Korea. Thank you very much. I'd like to first talk about Japan's economy. The government launched 3 initiatives, including loose monetary policies, increasing expenditure, and structural change. And in last year and the first half of this year, statistics have shown that Japan's economic is slowly on the rise, and various indicators such as consumer spending, market sentiment, unemployment, company profits, etc., all showed improvements. And in order to improve its own financial standing, the government raised sales tax, consumption tax this April from 5% to 7%, and we are still unsure whether the Japanese government can execute its the structural change as planned. And in the second quarter, with the increase in consumption tax, Japan's GDP shrinked by 7.1%, which is higher than expected. And at the same time, indicators for consumer and business confidence have dropped. And we will closely monitor Japan's indicators in the third quarter, and we'll see whether the Japanese government will further raise the consumption tax from 8% to 10% next year. And the actual estimate of Japan's economic growth was decreased from 0.9% to 0.7%. And for Korea, with relatively stable economic conditions, the GDP in the first half of the year increased by 3.7% compared with last year, and affected by the ferry incidents, consumption was relatively quiet, but as time passes, the situation has improved. And at the same time, the currency value of the Korean won remains strong, and as such, Korea's exports are still affected, and the economic growth estimate was 3.9% in the beginning of this year, and now the figure has been revised to 3.7%. And at the same time, the Korean government launched a series of initiatives to stimulate the economy, and the Korean Central Bank adjusted the interest rate from 2.5% to 2.2%. And it's widely anticipated that the central bank will decrease the economic forecast from 3.8% to 3.5% for 2014. And for the Tokyo ETO, Japan and Korea are Hong Kong's third and fifth largest trade partners, respectively. And we have facilitated work visits around Japan and Korea, and a number of meetings were held, and involving the HKTDC and Invest Hong Kong, and we have joined hands with the local governments and chambers to host major business symposiums in Fukuoka, in Japan, and Daegu in Korea. We have held such symposiums. And we have met mayors, chambers, the local media. We have sought to increase Hong Kong's profile in these countries. And in terms of bilateral relations, we have facilitated exchanges between senior officials, legislators, and other people. And in the past year, we have arranged the Secretary of Justice, the Director for Home Affairs. We have facilitated visits to Korea. And the officials have also visited Hong Kong and met with our legislators, and we have arranged politicians, academia from Korea to visit Hong Kong. And in Japan and Korea, we have launched various PR initiatives. In Osaka, we have promoted Hong Kong movies in an Asian festival, and we also held a cocktail called Hong Kong Nights. And in Osaka, we also organized an exhibition to promote Hong Kong miniature, featuring Hong Kong's culture, festivals, and shops, etc. And we aim to promote Hong Kong culture through these miniature models, and the exhibition proved extremely popular. And as such, this week, we will have another exhibition of these miniatures in Tokyo, and again, it has been very popular. And in Seoul, we have worked with the Hong Kong Tourism Board to host exhibitions. We invited Korean artists to visit Hong Kong, and based on their impression of Hong Kong, they were invited to come up with art pieces, and they would bring it back to Korea in order to let Koreans learn more about Hong Kong's culture. And in terms of cultural activities, every year we sponsor the International Dragon Boat Race Hong Kong Cup in Yokohama, and the Hong Kong-based Asian Youth Orchestra held concerts in Tokyo, Ayase, and Osaka, and we were also awarded the Arts and Culture Prize, and in Tokyo, and we had an English speech competition for university students in Tokyo, and going forward, we will continue to facilitate intergovernmental exchanges and continue with our PR activities to promote bilateral relations between Hong Kong and Japan, Korea. And we will continue to work with the TDC, HKTB, and Invest Hong Kong to increase our exposure. And with the visit of Hong Kong deputations, we hope to expand our contacts and networks as well. Thank you very much. And I'd like to remind you that our next item on the agenda would be about bilateral trade relations between Hong Kong and Taiwan. And for other issues, we can discuss it in the next agenda. in the next item. And we have 3 members who wish to talk: Ma Fung Kwok, Sin Chung Kai, and Andrew Leung, and Vincent Fang, including 4 minutes each, including question and answer. First, Ma Fung Kwok. Thank you, Chairman. I've read the reports from the different economic and trade officers, and I understand that many ETOs serve to promote creative industries and cultural activities. But the question is, I have asked this question before, will these ETOs be renamed to incorporate the culture elements? So this is something the government can think about. And in their reports, I see that the cultural activities are more or less are more diverse than before, but they are still tilted towards movies, and there's still a lack of other kinds of cultural activities. And for medium and small size art groups from Hong Kong, they lack exchange with art groups from other countries. So can we do more? And the other question is, when we choose what kind of cultural activities to organize, what are the criteria? Does the government make the decision, or is it, or does it hinge on other factors? I'll try to answer this question. If not, maybe my team can help. For the name of our ETOs, this has been the same question had been asked in previous meetings. The names of our overseas offices were agreed, were stipulated by the agreements with other departments, and some also went through legal considerations. So if we are to rename these offices, the process is rather complicated. Even though we call ourselves economic and trade offices, but in effect, our overseas ETOs cover aspects such as trade, PR, and cultural activities. We will continue to work very hard on these fronts to promote Hong Kong. So personally speaking, in my opinion, to rename our offices is rather time-consuming and complicated. And on the liaison of art groups, we have limited amounts of staff at each ETO, and they would liaise with the relevant departments in Hong Kong, such as LCSD. They had contacted art groups in the past, and if they are informed by LCSD that there are art groups performing overseas, our ETOs would get in touch with these art groups directly to promote their performances and create opportunities for them. The size of the art groups actually doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a resources. It's to do with the resources. If we send one big art group overseas just to take part in one celebration, it's not very cost effective. And we would get in touch with the LCSD to see what art groups are going to go aboard for performances, and this would make it easier for us to facilitate proceedings. Kwong Chi Kin is no longer a LegCo member. I have several questions. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you back home to Hong Kong. And since Occupy Central started on the 28th of September, have you received any inquiries? And if yes, what what were they about, or is it business as usual at the various ETOs? And I have a specific question for the Beijing office. In November, there will be an APEC meeting. Apart from the fact that the chief executive will attend the meeting, what role does Hong Kong play? So these are my two questions.
Chairman, I think I will invite one or two colleagues to reply because it may be a bit too long if each director provides an answer. Of course, all ETOs have kept a close eye on the development of the Occupy Central movement. Their contacts in the business and political media sectors are, of course, very concerned about what's happening here, and overseas media have reported widely on events in Hong Kong. Our ETO colleagues have the responsibility to explain to their business and political and media contacts there the latest state of events in Hong Kong. Of course, Hong Kong is a very free society. The operation of Hong Kong will not be affected by one or two incidents. This is a very important message we hammer home to our friends in the business sector. Regarding APEC, of course, Hong Kong, China is a member of APEC. APEC meetings, APEC annual meetings. Now, for instance, the FAS is supposed to be in Beijing this week to attend the APEC financial and ministerial meeting. Our Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development would also attend the ministerial meeting there, and our CEO will also attend the APEC meeting. Perhaps our colleague from the Beijing office. Thank you. As said by Mr. Wong, APEC hosts annual meetings in different APEC cities with a special topic for every year. Hong Kong is a financial center and an important member of APEC would, of course, take part in the meeting to know the latest development. For the office in Beijing, we offer assistance to any officials that are in Beijing for business duties. Thank you. Because the Trade and Industrial Department is the responsible department. For instance, the last APEC meeting was held in Indonesia, so our Singapore ETO provided assistance to our officials, but the main responsible department is still the TI department. Mr. Njula, I'm pleased to see so many colleagues back. Now, our offices in Chengdu and Wuhan have opened. I'd like to know what opportunities are there for Hong Kong people there. Are these two offices value for money? Mr. Wong, can I invite the director from the Chengdu and Wuhan offices to answer? Thank you. The Chengdu office was opened in 2006. Our catchment area covers Sichuan, Chongqing, Shanxi, Guizhou, Qinghai, and Xizhuang. The Western Development Area has been in place for 10 years. The country's policy is to continue to develop the western part of China to be an important economic and commercial area. Hong Kong's investment in the region has grown. For instance, in Sichuan and Chongqing, there are over 4,000 enterprises in Sichuan and over 2,000 enterprises in Chongqing. Trade between Hong Kong and Sichuan and Chengdu has also grown year on year. We arrange for delegations from Hong Kong business associations to visit the western part of China. We organize different seminars on the implementation of CITB. In different provinces, we also see how CITB has been implemented and the follow-up work required. We promote the creative industries in Hong Kong to these places. In Chongqing and Chengdu, we have hosted comics show and arranged for exchange opportunities for Hong Kong creative industries and the people there. And together with the Chinese manufacturing together with the Hong Kong Association of Chinese Manufacturers, we've also organized a trade fair there to showcase Hong Kong products. Thank you. What about the office from Chongqing? Well, the Wuhan office started operation on the 1st of April this year. Our catchment area are the 5 provinces, Hunan, Shanxi, Ganxi, and Henan, Jiangxi and Henan in the central part of China. Our terms of reference is very similar to other offices. We promote relationship between Hong Kong and these 5 provinces. We promote trade between Hong Kong and these places. We promote Hong Kong in these places as far as possible to foster a positive image for Hong Kong. Well, my office is quite different from other offices. In the past year, we spent a lot of energy on preparation, such as local recruitment of staff, but we have also promoted Hong Kong to other places, such as G2G relationship. In the past, these provinces were served by 4 other offices. Now we build on that foundation and enhance liaison with these provincial governments. We also enhance our liaison with Hong Kong enterprises there. We've taken the initiative to approach the Hong Kong people living and investing there, and also the students there. This office is very different from, our approach is different from what it was in the past. Now, the central part of China is growing. Because we are stationed in Wuhan, we are able to monitor the new developments, and we'll see how the growth in that area can bring business opportunities to Hong Kong enterprises. We've been there for half a year, and the Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce has already visited Wuhan. We want to enhance our cooperation with major trade associations in Hong Kong so that we can be a bridge between the Hong Kong enterprises and the 5 provinces there. Thank you. Mr. Vincent Fang, first, a warm welcome to the various representatives overseas and on the mainland. I'm pleased to see them again. Regarding the Beijing office, we're told that you have a lot of information for Hong Kong companies on the mainland on matters such as taxation. This is a good thing because regulations on the mainland are always changing, and this has been a headache for Hong Kong businessmen. For instance, customs, there are many new policies, and taxation. The Beijing office can give us resources or information on tax matters, because we may be caught inadvertently if we are not familiar with such regulations. Chairman, as you have seen, the general atmosphere in Hong Kong is that of protectionism. They don't really want mainlanders to visit Hong Kong. They make mainlanders feel unwelcome. I'd like to know what is the mainland's reaction to such attitude. I'm in the retail industry. This movement to drive the locusts away has hit my industry hard, and such things have been widely reported in the media of the mainland. So I'd like to know what is the mainlanders' reaction towards our protectionism, and also drive the locusts movement. I think the Guangdong office should have the best feel about how this has affected people's feelings there. Yes, in Hong Kong, there've been events to drive the so-called locusts away, and we have approached the Fujian and Shenzhen and Guangdong authorities to explain to them that yes, such things have happened, but that only represents the views of some people in Hong Kong, but not the majority. Judging from the number of visitors from the mainland, we have not seen any serious impact. Where necessary, we will continue to explain to the relevant provincial governments in Hong Kong to let them know the real situation here. To answer Mr. Fang's question, the Hong Kong TB Tourism Board has, in the wake of such events, stepped up publicity on the mainland to tell them that Hong Kong is a very hospitable place, and we should not let visitors from the mainland or overseas to feel unwelcome here. And the Hong Kong TB has done a lot of publicity events on the mainland to hammer home this message to the potential visitors to Hong Kong. I think it's about time we wrap up the discussion of this item, but we still have Dr. Ann Jiang. Thank you, Chairman. I'm sure you have seen what has happened in Hong Kong recently. Of course, the situation is very worrying. But as we all know, things will only go on for a while, and we're sure that things will resume to normal eventually. And we've been pondering recently, why are things like that? Perhaps it's because of cultural differences and communication breakdown. But a very important factor is also at play. It's because there isn't sufficient upward mobility for our young people. Since the relocation of our production lines northwards, we have got fewer opportunities for our young people. And because of office automation, in fact, I may be doing the double of what I used to do within a short period of time, and yet I have fewer assistants to help me, and I only need an email system to help me. We no longer have posts like junior secretary, senior secretary, and administrative manager, so on and so forth. So what should we do? We have lost jobs. What can we do? We have asked whether we can diversify in our industries so that we can have more jobs suitable for our young people. And we cannot just rely on tourism alone. Now, these few days, we have no visitors coming to Hong Kong. This is very worrying. And things is not just the Admiralty, Tsim Sha Tsui, or Causeway Bay, or Central are being affected. People have less incentive to buy and to spend money.
And a lot of people these days have no mood to buy, and I'm sure you have seen a lot of things happen all over the world and in the mainland. Can we borrow something from other places or countries? I've always said that we should industrialize various trades. Can we, for example, the beauty industry? I'd like to know your views on of any experience we can borrow from other places. Well, if you'd like to respond, please feel free to do so. Secretary, can you give us any insights? Chairman, one of the major responsibilities of our mainland ETOs is to attract investment to Hong Kong, and in their annual work plans. And we like to attract certain industries, for example, innovation and technology and creative industries. We feel that these industries can provide new job opportunities to our youngsters. And our ETOs have reached out to different companies and encouraged them to set up offices in Hong Kong or use Hong Kong as a platform to reach out. And all these initiatives would help diversify Hong Kong's industries. And the Economic Development Commission set up by the Chief Executive is actively developing new industries as well as existing ones, and hopefully this commission will drive results, and we can further discuss the matter at a later stage. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you. And with the situation Hong Kong is facing now, when you return to your respective cities, I'm sure you have a lot of work to do. And you have to reinstate Hong Kong's spirits of law and rule of law, and you have to make the explanations at length to governments and people in other countries, and under the one country, two systems approach. I'm sure you have to make deliberate explanations to people overseas. I think I believe that one country, two systems will persist, and it will be successful in the long run. So let's enter the next item on the agenda. Hong Kong's trade relations with Taiwan. And Can the secretary please stay? And Mr. John Leung, please also stay. Perhaps I'd invite John to talk about our work on this front in the past year. Let's invite Mrs. Alice Chang to join our meeting. Chairman, I'd like to say a few words. The Hong Kong government has always developed trade ties with Taiwan, and in the past we had reported regularly to LESCO. Today, we have prepared papers to outline the latest trade relations between Hong Kong and Taiwan. And with the aid of various organizations such as the we will update members on the latest developments in Hong Kong-Taiwan trade relations. So I'd like to allow Mr. Leung to talk about our work in the past year. I think the Taiwan ETO is the youngest one. It's the youngest office. Well, maybe the Wuhan office is even newer. So can Mr. Leung please introduce the papers? Our office has been in place for almost 3 years. So I'd like to use a few minutes to outline our work. And in August this year, the Taipei office of HKTDC has worked with us to establish a cooperation commission between the Hong Kong and Taiwan business trade, and this is a new chamber, and the members include Hong Kong businesses in Taiwan as well as Taiwanese business persons. And this would be a very good platform to promote trade ties between Hong Kong and Taiwan. At the same time, our ETO has worked with the Hong Kong Trade Development Council and Tourism Boards to launch a forum, and the first was held in Taiwan in October, and we talked about the promotion of renminbi business operations. And in May in Kaohsiung, we launched another forum, and we talked about logistics and tourism. And in the coming December, we will have another forum in Taipei, and we will talk about finance industry. Apart from renminbi operations, we will cover securities and the stock exchange, and I'm sure a lot of Taiwanese businesses would be interested. And in terms of investment promotion, we have a task force, and in the past year, they have interviewed more than 300 businesses throughout Taiwan, and they came up with new projects. And 5 investment projects were completed. And last week, and Invest Hong Kong and the Guangzhou province ran a economic cooperation symposium in Taiwan, and hundreds of Taiwanese business persons attended. And we outlined Hong Kong's business advantage during the session. In the past year, we have visited different cities, including Keelung, Hualien, Taitung, And we have visited the mayors and built connections with various business chambers. And we have visited more than 10 cities throughout Taiwan and have retained close ties. On different levels, such as cultural industry, creative industries, we have done work to promote Hong Kong. From November last year to February this year, and we in Taipei's creative lofts, we have worked with Hong Kong brands such as Hong Kong Tramways. We have showcased a replica of a Hong Kong tram in the creative loft in Taipei, and tourists were able to experience the Hong Kong tram. And this year in Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung, we held 6 cultural talks to promote Hong Kong. And the talks involved Cantonese opera, drama, fashion, design, photography, etc. And we invited famous cultural practitioners from Hong Kong. And in the Taiwanese media, we also did a lot of promotions. And in the past, we have worked with a famous PC magazine in Taiwan and arranged a forum. And we also launched a column on a famous magazine to sell Hong Kong, Hong Kong in a softer manner. We introduced the PMQ and the benefits of investing in Hong Kong, and later we will also talk about Hong Kong's designers and latest designs. In September, we worked with another financial magazine in Taiwan, and we published a supplement on Hong Kong's investment portfolio in Taiwan, and it outlined the benefits and advantages of investing in Hong Kong, and it covered areas such as finance, people exchange, etc. And it has proved popular. And through the magazine's website, and we successfully reached 20,000 supervisors in various business institutions. And several of our secretaries also had roles to in the various committees, business committees. And last year we attended a symposium in Taipei organized by students and organized by aviation industry, and the secretary for health and for food and health visited Taiwan as well, and he visited Taichung to exchange views with the trade. And in August, and the director for home affairs visited Taipei to attend a cooperation forum. And we had a cultural creativity group which involved Taiwanese and Hong Kong people, and the event was a success. And going forward, we'll continue to work on economic, investment, and cultural activities. And in Taipei right now, we are running the Hong Kong Week, and it involves a lot of art and cultural activities. We have art performances. We have an anime show. We have a Hong Kong Film Festival, and this event will run until early November.
Thank you, Mr. Leung. Our Deputy Chairman, Mr. Vincent Fang, when he was the chairman of this panel, talked about forming a delegation of this panel to visit Taiwan so as to enhance liaison with the business sector there. Do you think it is the right time to revisit this idea? Should we organize a duty visit to Taiwan to take a look for ourselves? According to Mr. Leung, many delegations from the SL government have visited Taiwan already, including those from the Hong Kong TB, TTC, and government bureaus. And yet, this panel and also the panel on constitutional affairs have yet to visit Taiwan. So can we consider this possibility? We should perhaps we should go via Fujian. And then we can see, we can visit both new offices. What do you think, Mr. Fang? Well, Chairman, you are the chairman now. You can decide. 2 years back, when I was the chairman, I communicated with the administration. Back then, perhaps time was not ripe yet. It was not that convenient back then. But now, an office has already been established in Taipei. Perhaps this is the right moment. Is your say, Chairman? P.S. If member so wish, my office, the Secretariat of the Council will render the necessary assistance. If members of any special areas of interest or special organizations to visit, then through Mr. Leung's office we can provide the necessary resources. So it's up to members. We can always support you. I think we could learn from some of the industries of Taiwan, and I think Mr. Stephen Ho might be interested because farming is prospering in Taiwan, and we'll also see whether we can enhance tourism cooperation and see how our cruise terminal can maximize its potential. When the cruise terminal was first commissioned, I joined a cruise to Kaohsiung, and for a few days it was very enjoyable and the sea was calm. Perhaps we should maximize the advantage of our cruise terminal and see whether we can line up a new route covering Taiwan and Vietnam and things like that. Well, we have set up a fund with Taiwan to encourage liners to make use of ports. The Asia Cruise Fund can offer financial incentives. So LegCo should go and see for ourselves to see whether we can provide input to the Asia Cruise Fund. Mr. Xin, do you have any comments? Many colleagues have been to Taiwan already. And in fact, people, you've asked me, I'm more interested in the political side of Taiwan than well, I'm more interested in the economic aspect. Well, since you asked me, Chairman, my interest is in politics there. last year we wanted to visit Israel, but the situation became quite tense last year. And if you ask me, I think it will be more interesting if we see the development of technology and innovation and new technology there. It used to be a leading place some time back, but in recent years it has lagged behind. All right. Do members have any question? If not, thank you, PS and Mr. Leung, and also Mrs. Zhang for coming to this meeting. And let's move on to the next item, and that is government assistance for small and medium enterprises affected by Occupy Central. The secretary has yet to arrive. Oh no, he has arrived. He's here already. Good. Welcome, Secretary. This is a newly added item, so we will extend the meeting by a little bit. Mrs. Zhang, please stay behind, and let us welcome Mr. Gregory So, Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. Mr. So, can you briefly walk us through the paper, and then I will open the floor to members for questions. Thank you, Chairman. Since the outbreak of Occupy Central, we have been closely monitoring the impact of the protests on different sectors, and we have also maintained very close liaison with different sectors. So far, we've met with 20 chambers of commerce or sectoral trade associations to understand the impact of the movement on business operation. The sectors directly affected include retail, tourism, catering, and transportation, etc. Other sectors may be indirectly affected. For instance, retail outlets near the protest areas, and also hotels and tourism destinations in between Central and Wan Chai. It is understood that some visitors have cancelled their trip to Hong Kong, and some retail or some catering businesses have shelved their plan of business development in Hong Kong. The overall impact can only be more obvious after the economic data for this quarter is available. For government assistance, we have got the SME loan guarantee scheme and also the SME financing guarantee scheme run by the Hong Kong Mortgage Corporation. When SMEs lodge applications for financial assistance, we hope that these funds can give them assistance as far as possible so as to alleviate their burden. We will closely listen to the views of the industries so as to give them timely assistance. Thank you. 3 members would like to ask questions. Since we have plenty of time, I won't set any time limit. So just be succinct. First, Mr. Andrew Leung. Thank you, Chairman. In fact, it was I who proposed this item. The Secretary said that the real impact would only be available upon the release of economic data of the next quarter. By then, many shops might have folded. And I am pleased to hear that there are 2 loan schemes available, and has also appealed to these organizations to offer assistance as far as possible. Still, you have to give guidance to these organizations. because let's say the business space is 100, it has dropped to 30, then and there is no telling when the movement will be resolved. So, do you have guidance for lending institutions such as banks when it comes to assistance that can be rendered? It's already the 21st and 24 days into Occupy Central. These businesses have to pay their staff and pay their suppliers towards the end of this month, sooner or later, and there is already a month's business lost. I think they would like to tie over the difficult period so that they can continue to survive. So I'd like to know, is there anything concrete from the administration of any guidance from the Hong Kong MA? And how can the FS ensure that the guarantee schemes can be fully utilized? Secretary. Yes, we do appreciate the difficulty in cash flow for these businesses. In fact, this is the hot period of the year, and I know that some businesses need capital flow, and they really need cash income during this period. What we want to do is to appeal to the occupiers to end the movement as soon as possible so that we can restore social order and also the business environment for our shops. This is the most important point. Occupy Central has run for more than 20 days. I know there is a cash flow problem for businesses. We would like to make good use of our existing measures. We've already got LegCo's approval for loan guarantee to be granted to applicants from lending institutes for under the SME financing guarantee scheme. 80% guarantee is available at a concessionary fee rate. I hope that enterprises can utilize this scheme. And if there are any enterprise that cannot benefit from this special initiative, we will take note of that, and we appeal to lending institutions to alleviate or to lower the lending burden on enterprises as far as possible. If further assistance is needed, we will consider other possible initiatives. Mr. Vincent Fang. Thank you, Chairman. Secretary, thank you for your concern for the retail industry at the outbreak of Occupy Central. You came to retail associations to understand their situation. They are very grateful. Mr. Tommy Cheung is otherwise engaged, and he can't make it to this meeting. And he would like me to tell you what's happening in the catering industry. The loss to this industry is tremendous. Some shops or restaurants in Mongkok have seen a drop by 80% of the business turnover. So, apart from the two schemes you mentioned in your paper, can you give special consideration to restaurants? They are smaller enterprises. They would like to talk about a waiver or concession in sewage fees and licensing fees. So this is a request from Mr. Tommy Cheung representing the catering industry. For my sector, the retail industry, I'm afraid the two schemes you mentioned here do not suit the very small enterprises and the small mom and papa stores. You talk about a maximum loan of $12 million, but for these very small shops, they don't need that much. Oh, Mr. Tommy Cheung is back.
Secretary, a lot of retail shops have low turnarounds. For example, stores selling fresh vegetables. They import their vegetables from the mainland before the vegetables reach markets in Hong Kong, in Mongkok, for example. But right now, these vegetables cannot reach markets in Mongkok. And as such, they have to send their vegetables to other markets, for example, the Lok Fu market. But they couldn't sell all the vegetables they have, and they have to throw away vegetables. And for people in this situation, how can you help them? Even if you said you have guarantee schemes and loans, but the fact is they don't need so much money. They don't need 12 million. They just need a few hundred thousands for them to survive this period and to pay for rents, food, salaries, goods, etc. So is there anything you can do to help these merchants? They virtually have no money these days, and they just need a few hundred thousands or at most 1 million, but they need the money fast. Is there anything you can do to help them, Secretary? Chairman, since Occupy Central started, I've been very, very concerned, and I can feel that the impacts for our businesses is very big, especially for SMEs, and certain retailers in certain areas have been greatly affected. So we are aware of the situation, and if Occupy Central persists, the effects on these people will multiply. And we have to determine the extent in which these merchants are affected, and I understand that Tommy Cheung recommended us to adopt certain measures taken in 2003 post-SARS. Can we launch certain initiatives to help certain industries? But after considering the proposal, at that time in 2003, we did not have an SME financing guarantee scheme. But right now, we do have this scheme, and it can help SMEs today. And Vincent Fang talked about offering a lower loan amounts to some merchants. But in fact, the 12 million is only the maximum. And we have approved 1,437 applications under this scheme. And under these schemes, the thresholds are very low, and these schemes can help merchants get their money as soon as possible. And loan institutions can process such applications within 3 working days. So the process is very fast. We know time is key. And Mr. Fang mentioned other costs such as sewage fee, etc. I think the key now is how long will Occupy Central persist, and we have to determine the needs of different businesses. And hopefully we can have more initiatives to help our businesses brave this period. But the roots of the problem is that is on the organizers. So we hope this movement can end as soon as possible. I think we all want to see the sites cleared as soon as possible, but 24 days have passed, and that means a lot of SMEs have no business for almost a month. If banks can grant loans within 3 days, well, we have tried, but this is not possible. Banks have to come and assess our businesses, but we are talking about time. We have speed is very important. So can you offer interest-free loans at this critical time? If you have to go through banks and have to negotiate interests, then it would not help the situation. If we need money fast, we have to come to the Finance Committee for approval, and I'm sure this is very challenging. So, Chairman, my suggestion is we make use of our existing schemes and mechanism to tackle this problem. I think this is a more viable solution. Next, Ann Chang. Secretary, I've been at the protest sites. I see that the business environments have deteriorated. At the beginning, I thought only the surrounding areas would be affected in Mong Kok, Admiralty, etc. But a few days ago, I was in Admiralty for lunch, and at nights, the restaurants were all very quiet. I was at Pacific Place. Right now, the overall atmosphere is very annoying. For example, in beauty salons, customers they said the customers have no mood to visit anymore. And I've been to some boutiques, and a lot of them said that they didn't even have one order in one day. So we are not just talking about Admiralty now. Lots of industries and businesses are suffering. Last night, someone talked about occupying the airports. I think the peaceful nature has turned into violence. Like they are ignoring the law. Well, if this persists, I think we will see a lot of travel warnings. Last time in Thailand, someone occupied the airport and travel warnings were issued at that time. But it wasn't a big issue. But still, a lot of travel warnings were issued. You know, Hong Kong is an international city. We have flights to more than 100 international cities, notwithstanding mainland cities. We have flights to more than 140 global cities. So everything would be stalled. We cannot solve the problem overnight. It takes a long time. If the airport is affected, we will have a big problem, because when airports are concerned, we are talking about international safety acts, and if international or diplomatic issues are involved, it's really worrying. Some people told me that why am I so nervous? Why am I so worried? But then Occupy Central is worse than we imagine, so we must be very careful. I disagree with the provision of loans at this time. You should just provide funding. You should just provide funding. Our businesses have paid tax for all along, and what have we done to help them? Even some merchants were crying when they came to me. First, I think the government should offer emergency funding, emergency funds. I'm sure the government has a reserve of emergency funds, and we have to see how we can help these businesses, for example, to cover 1 month's rents. So loans are useless at this time. These are your money is all from this is from the Hong Kong citizens and businesses, and now they're facing difficulties. So you should do something to help, and you should talk to the bosses of the big shopping centers and see if they can offer rents discounts, for example, a 50% discount. You should come forward and talk to these bosses for the good of the society. Now the public is suffering and our businesses are suffering. And the big businesses, they are dominant and they are able to control everything. If you are willing to voice out for us, then maybe they would do something. The retailers need help. No kidding. Vincent Fang talked about it already. And some owners have to mortgage or even sell their properties. They are very, very angry and even crying whenever they talk about it. I think you should talk to the chief executive. The government should not place this burden on businesses. They are suffering and the situation is very bad. You should assign some funds. You should disseminate funds. And in SARS, you have to compensate merchants selling chickens and ducks. So it should be the same this time. You have to compensate these people. If you are saying that you are going to rebate some tax, and it's only possible for if you have a profit. And Chen, even though I didn't set a time limit, please still be brief. Chairman, I have 2 requests for the secretary. First, I hope he can urge the big landlords and property developers to cut rents, and it's just like for students. If they are late these days, they shouldn't be punished. And second, the government is sure to have a big reserve of emergency funds, and they should allocate some of these funds to help the small merchants. Secretary, please, any response for these 2 questions? I'd like to thank Ms. N. Chang's comments. Your comments are well noted. In this panel, the question I hear the most is, why should businesses pay for political problems? And if we have to use our reserve, that's public money. And the question is, the result is a lot of the public might ask, why does the public have to pay? So this is a rather complicated issue. So as I said, we have to address the impacts to businesses, and we have to assess the areas affected so we can provide appropriate help. And we have to assess the nature of the incident and specifically help our businesses. So we have to urge not just landlords. And in this period, we should stay together apart from landlords. We also need support from other institutions, for example, loan institutions. I hope they can understand the plight of the merchants facing this unpredictable situation, and they should assess the long-term business operating abilities of these merchants. Hopefully, our corporations would exercise their social responsibility to help everyone survive this period. And for other initiatives or remedies, we will closely monitor the situation to see if we can launch any new initiatives to help the businesses.
Mr. Tommy Zhang, thank you for allowing me to speak, although I'm not a member of the panel. Secretary, I hope that you can understand this. Well, you are talking about the SME financing guarantee or the loan guarantee scheme. Now, this is a little bit better than the other. Now, when you borrow money from banks, they may not want to lend you any money. All banks know that in shops there are more employees than customers. So why should banks lend you money? I know you're saying that if you want me to think of a new scheme, I have to go through the finance committee, and it may be 10 years before the scheme can be implemented. This I can understand, but please don't tell us that the impact would only last for a few days. As we all know, it will be more than a few days. The catering industry cannot put up with this anymore. They will have to pay their employees in a few days' time. And if they don't have money to pay their staff, it is a big deal. And they also have to pay rent. Dr. An Zhang said that you should call upon landlords to see whether they can lower the rent and whether they can allow more time for the shops to tide over the difficult period. You talked about the use of public money. In fact, during the SARS outbreak, you also used money from the public coffers to help the industry, and the industry paid you back in full. And we asked you to check our payrolls, and we said that we were only borrowing money to pay our staff. So you should help SMEs, the catering industry in particular. Our track record is such that we always pay you back. So, Secretary, please act quickly. And you can also give a waiver in rates, licensing fees, and sewage charge, so on and so forth. You should announce these measures as soon as possible so that the catering industry know that they can have some hope. Because even if you clear the sites tonight, they can always come back tomorrow and the day after. You have to understand that we're in deep waters. Dr. An Zhang said that some operators have taken out mortgage with their residential properties. Well, if they have this resort is of course good, but some of us don't even have that resort. And I think the SME loan guarantee scheme is better than the financing guarantee scheme. Whatever schemes you are talking about, you should streamline the procedures. And for instance, can shops take out loans even though the money is not for buying equipment and plants? Can you say this to lending institutions so that they can move faster? For instance, they can decompress their processing time to 2 days and 2 to 3 days because the end of the month is just at the corner and the employers have to pay employees. Whether they have money to pay their staff or not makes a world of difference. Secretary, Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do agree that we are in exceptional times and the industry really needs help. In 2003, during the SARS outbreak, money was lent through lending institutions. It is very similar to the two schemes we have here. And it takes only 3 days for us to process an application from a bank. Can we do it faster? Yes, we can consider that. Anyway, during the SARS outbreak, we also worked through lending institutions. So we have to respect the risk management of banks. Whether we can expedite the processing of such applications, we will consider that, and we will ask lending institutions to give timely assistance to the applicants as far as possible, given the exceptional circumstances, as well as to alleviate their burden. So applications to these lending institutions would be processed as soon as possible. In 2003, there was no loan guarantee up to 80% and concessionary fee rate. Now, Mr. Vincent Fang said that some shops are only trying to seek $1 million in rank, then the fee is very, very low. And we also have to estimate how much longer Occupy Central would last. And Mr. Zhang asked whether we can have other concrete relief measures. Chairman, I suggest that after this meeting, we can have a discussion with other relevant departments to see what other measures can be made available for the industry. I understand that this is a pressing matter for the industry. I don't think the administration will stall. They do understand the situation. It is most important that the administration discuss with banks. During the financial tsunami, it was also impossible to take out loans, and the Liberal Party, myself and Ms. Miriam Lau, went to banks to beg them. And then, because of the scheme by the Hong Kong Mortgage Corporation, a loan guarantee could be up to 80%. So please talk to banks, ask them to be lenient. And please don't have the misconception that the disaster areas are just Admiralty Central, Mong Kok, and Causeway Bay. In fact, North Point and Wan Chai and Sam Shui Po, and even CITB Tower just opposite our building. This morning I went to breakfast in, that canteen has already gone out of business. And even the public housing estates in Shangshui, Wan Chai have seen a drop in 20 to 30% business turnover because people have no mood to go out and to spend money. You have to understand that we are not just talk about the restaurants in these 3 occupied areas. I understand. Now I understand that the impact is not just confined to the localized protest areas. And Mr. Tommy Chang asked whether the loan scheme would cover applications not for buying equipment. The answer is yes. If it is merely for operation, the application is still eligible. In the past, people only took out a one-off loan, but now you want a revolving loan. Now, if I need $1 million, thinking that the whole thing would end in a month, but what if it is still here in December? I may have to come back for another $2 million. Yes, this is a revolving loan scheme. Secretary, I have something to add. I think what you said was very correct. The fundamental solution is to end Occupy Central as soon as possible so that people can lead normal lives again and our economy can be restored to normal. No matter how hard the administration is helping, it cannot be forever. It will only be short-term. But of course, for the industry, some help is better than none. Whether we are talking about the retail or the catering industries, in August and September should be the peak season. Now, in May, in June, business was not too good, and in July, August is the start of fall and fashion is in for a new season, and because the weather is cooler, people like to eat out. So people's livelihood now is severely affected. If you're not in business, you may not know, but for businessmen like us, we know that we have to attain a certain business turnover to break even. That means enough to cover wages and rent and other overhead. If I can make $1 million a month, I'll be able to balance the books, and once I get more than $1 million, it is my profit. But now, the business turnover can not even meet the basic operating costs. Many SMEs could merely survive in low season. Very often, the operator himself is not making any profit. He is just making enough to pay his staff, and his hope is in the high season. Now, here is the high season, and yet there is no hope now. Once there is no cash flow, the operator can hardly make ends meet, and they cannot survive anymore. You don't know anything about business. I may want to keep my employees, but I won't be able to find cash by borrowing and by taking out mortgage or going to pawns, because I cannot borrow any money. Then I have no choice but to close my shop. And what will happen to my employees? I do understand. I hope the occupiers can understand this. What is the point of democracy? Democracy is for better livelihood. Should I beg for a living for the sake of democracy? I know the government is in a dilemma. You should not resort to using public money so easily. You beg the Democrats, they may say, I couldn't care less. But administration or secretary, can you use your influence and talk to banks? And ask them to give special consideration under the two schemes. For instance, for sectors that are particularly hard hit by Occupy Central, and to SMEs, that have particularly high operating costs, if they are not asking for a lot, they're just asking for $1 million or slightly less, can the applications be approved expeditiously? Now, for those loan sharks or the lending institutions that charge exorbitant rates, do you want SMEs to go and borrow money from them? There can be no turning back for them. You talk about a few days. Please give me some real examples. I've never got any friend who's able to borrow money within 3 days. I hope what you say is true. If really an application can be processed in 3 days, then perhaps they'll be able to pay their employees towards the end of this month.
Yes, that's what, those are my heartfelt words. The SMEs are facing a great challenge. So I hope at this critical moment the government can offer help. And for those political pleas and for the friends at of Occupy Central, and some students might have parents who are operating businesses and they have to pay for their school fees. So do you think it's really fun to be sitting here? So I hope the Secretary can help and talk to banks and credit authorities and the business trade. I hope you can touch base with these institutions and they can do something about the current loans and speed up the application, the approval process for various loans. Tommy Chang talked about waiving certain government fees. Legally speaking, this might be a challenge, but my recommendation is to postpone the payment of such fees. Is it legally possible? For instance, there's a 5% late penalty, and it might be more than 5% if you are late by a certain amount of time. Can you waive this late charge so as to ease the burdens of people who take out loans? Can you allow these businesses to pay the fee at a later stage? I think this is not something which can be decided by a single bureau. I think you can take the matter to EXCO and talk to other bureaus. I'm sure no one wants to see Hong Kong collapse. Chairman, I agree with your heartfelt words, and a lot of businesses have to do very hard to, they rely on this busy season for revenue. So the Occupy movement is very bad news for them. And I think if businesses, due to uncontrollable circumstances, they are unable to obtain their usual revenues, I totally understand with the situation, and we will work with the relevant institutions to help these businesses through loans or other means. And our colleagues as well as other departments will work together to help these businesses overcome this challenge. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Vincent Fang, I have something to add. If certain government fees can be disclosed, or if they can waive or delay certain charges, then it will be a great booster for the business trade. At least they know that the government understands their plight. I think this is important. Secondly, in terms of loans, can banks be more lenient? For instance, for salary pay slips or rent payment slips, can banks make the payment for me first, and this would help manage their cash flow. We'll continue to liaise with loan institutions and the trade to see what we can what we can do to help businesses and allow them to obtain money as soon as possible. If possible, I think you should talk with the financial secretary and make the appropriate announcements. If this would reassure the businesses. The business trade fully supports Hong Kong's the policy making of the Hong Kong government. I believe we have a common goal for Hong Kong. We don't have a lot of members here today, but all our words are heartfelt words. So I hope you can go back and consider our comments. If we are able to secure the government's support and concern, then the business trade would have even more confidence in the government and in the government's policies. If we have no other business, the meeting would adjourn.